It's now, just to start off, mina ngiyathanda ukuthi umuntu ngimazi ubiyena, because the more the person speaks, you get to learn ukuthi umuntu umuntu onjani, right? But also kumnandi ukuthi uzwe kuyena umuntu ukuthi mina as a person, how do I view myself? And futhi it's better ukuthola isitori somuntu from ngomuntu than hambuzwa ngabantu, because sekubiza ukuthi lokho inhlebo yahleba, hambuzwa ngabantu ukuthi lo kanje sizwe nawe directly. Iprofile yakho siyakuthola ukuthi ukhulele emzini mkhulu, right? So engifisa ukuthola kancane usipha nje background, like nje bathi in English in a nutshell, just a little bit of like a background yakho, where you grew up and what kind of background you had when you're growing up. Maybe nje, apart from the whole financial story, then maybe in your answer, then maybe you can tell us if you did have any financial exposure at an early age, right? Because there's somewhere I'm going with this question. There's a follow-up thing I'm going to say after this. So yeah, first.
Okay. So Ndingu Phelisa Mafunda, we're using English, right? Or okay.
Anything you're comfortable with.
It's going to be a mixture, right? Okay, yeah. So I am Phelisa Mafunda. I grew up in Mzimkhulu. I am a firstborn, Kumama, who there's two of us. But I grew up from my grandmother's place, Kuliso Makulu, and while my mother was out there working, not in a professional space, but yeah, she was, doing the best she could at that time. And I'm also a wife and a mother of two beautiful girls. And yes, so I've worked in the bank from 2006. I started working in 2006 and I left in 2018. Okay, there was a bit of a break where I resigned in 2011 and I worked somehow in the casino industry.
Okay.
Well, I always say there's a reason for just about anything. It was part of the journey, for me to go and work in the casino industry. It was part of the journey of this. I think it's the end result of me doing financial education. So I had to be exposed in all kind of risk places. So I started knowing money from a very young age. I've always loved money. But loving money has been labeled as wrong. So at some point, you kind of hold back in terms of you not necessarily loving to have it. Well, everyone wants to have it, but talking about it always excites me. It always like makes me come alive. And then I studied in a Walter Sisulu University doing my bachelor's degree. Okay, let me start here. When I was very young, I was so exposed in debt at a very young age, like seriously young age. Where I would, the little things is, I'm a sweetie, eskolweni, the sandwiches, the little things that when you think about it, when you still, if maybe you are not like exposed to the kind of information that I'm exposed to now, you wouldn't relate when you're going back young. But what I have seen every time when I speak about this, a person would actually go back and be like, you know what, I was also in that kind of situation. So I was exposed in debt at a very young age. But again, I was also exposed in saves at a very young age. There was an auntie who asked me ukuthi ngithengise popcorns zakhe, and she would pay me with 2 popcorns. So for me, I didn't eat the 2 popcorns. I would sell them so that I get the money. So the idea was for me to eat the popcorns, but I didn't. I sold them, so they were part of. Then when I'm cashing up at the end of the day, I take my 40 cents. They were selling it at 20 cents at that time. And again, they were, in that process of me selling, there was, I remember there was a time where a teacher kind of like made me feel really bad about this selling thing. I then ended up, not liking it because the way it was, the way she said it to me, she said to me, I'm selling umoya. maybe she was joking, but I was a child, and it kind of hurt me, and it made me look down on selling. So yeah, that is basically my story. Now that I think of it, I'm actually thinking, okay, this was like this. When in coaching we say there's an invisible path for everyone, where we kind of walk it without us being aware. But at some point, when you kind of look back, then you kind of remember, you see why were you exposed to this kind of, you know, life, so that you get to either educate or learn, or but the best thing is to either you educate or you learn, not complain.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that so much. Yeah. So from the other parts of the question, where I was asking, were you exposed to imali usamncane? Then I think you've covered that as well. The reason I asked that is because from my personal view, I believe the earlier you are exposed to financial what you call financial literacy, the better. Then we can be exposed to some dollar. But because most of us, what I've noticed, most of us, especially a black child, schooler, we all have the same vision. Most of us would say, Mankula, I wanna go, give him dala, give him your phone down, give him the mali, give him nomuzi wami, give him nemoto yami, give him the logo, ngiyazi khona la ngisazobuya with the whole thing yemoto, and give him no nkosikazi omuhle, nengane ngihlale yabo kamnandi, or vice versa. When it comes to females, they'll say they want to have a husband and then maybe children and all that. So it's like a typical thing we all want to have, you know. And the first thing we do as soon as we stole imali, because asinayo that financial education, sivele sithi nje because ekukhuleni kwami ngikhule ngitshela ukuthi fanele mangikhula ngibe nalezi zinto, I just go and buy them without even thinking about ukuthi what are the implications of me spending money on these things. Do I need these things? Do I not need these things? You know, all those kind of things. So bengifuna ukuthi usiphe lapho ukuthi wena uzoze ube smart kanje ngemali. What drove you to that, you know? So partially, I think we answered the question, ukuthi it was the exposure usamncane yokuthi ubone ukuthi imali yenziwa kanjani, even though khona umuntu wa discourage, of which I think some of us or most of us, we also get such experiences maskhula mhlawumbe ukuthi kube khona umuntu discourage, especially moda sweet nani nani yabo ukuthi ubone sengathi into engiyenzayo it's useless or it's looked down upon because it's not a cool thing to do. But ukwenza imali, guys, it has never been a cool thing, and I don't think it will ever be a cool thing. If you want to make money, just take your coolness and then start making money, because it's not a nice thinking. It's not a nice gene at all. It's a messaging, guys, and you have to go through a lot of sacrifices. Now, we brought you here because you are an expert, right? So, when did you decide? Okay, I want to go to a varsity and then go study something for money. There were so many causes out there you could have studied for. You know, what made you that one thing, one moment, or one, that situation that I'm gonna go study to know how to handle money? Because that's such a low science, engineering, or poise. When I went, what doesn't what made you so different from all of us?
Okay, so let me start here. You speak. We ask good to Yakulum.
A lot. A lot. Hello.
I'm trying to grab, like, okay, so let me start here. Okay. Financial educated. I was not financial educated. I grew up like an ordinary child where, like you said, we want to have money. When I grow up, I want to have this and this and this and this. So I didn't have a financial education. I doubt there is anyone of my age who can safely say I had a foundation in financial education. Maybe abantwana bangoku, because we talk openly about money. Let me rather say who has my kind of background. Yeah, let me not say everyone. Let me say who has my kind of background, who like okulele lalini, going to just an ordinary school where English is taught by Xhosa, you know those kind of environment. So I didn't have financial education. I grew up wanting to have money. Like I've always said I want to have money. And when I grew up, I I didn't grow up from a family of AIE well off. I grew up from a very struggling home. If you have my book, you would like my background would tell you my background was like totally out. I didn't have like good background at all, which was one of the things that led me to like a lot of debt. Since I wrote about healing the wounds of debt, one of the things that led me to be in a lot of debt because of the way I grew up, which is like childhood. But to come back to your question, what made me go and study Bachelor of Accounting Science? Well, to be honest, I was told chartered accountants are earning a lot of money. That was
typical story. Typical story.
I didn't go to study Bachelor of Accounting. So when I grew up, I wanted to be a pilot. Why? Okay. Because I had heard there's a lot of money with pilot, not because I've never had an interest of anything, because you know, I had passion. I never like really discovered my passion at a young age. I've always had passion of having a lot of money. So that was me. So I wanted to be a pilot because I was told there's a lot of money with pilots, and I couldn't do it. Reason I got a scholarship at Australia for about 18 months, and I was not ready to leave my home. I'm such a family person, so I was not ready for that. And then there was medicine, until I watched some documentary where there was a lot of blood, and I was like, no, I'm not going there. And then it came to Indo Bachelor of Accounting Science, where they had said if chartered accountants are earning this much money and all of that. And just to give you a brief, I didn't have accounting when I went to the university. I only had maths and physics, because my drive was medicine, until I got turned off by the documentary that I was watching. And now I go to university with no accounting background whatsoever. And then I go there, and surprisingly, I passed my degree like in term. I didn't have any year that I was behind. Then I started working. So when I started working, I was in my mindset, I was going to correspond with the honors, the accounting and all of that. Only then I started to see flames when it comes to accountancy. I was like, no. And the hard work and the long hours and all of those things. Then I was growing up, getting married, having kids and all of that. Then the passion kind of like lost it, and I was in the banking industry. Then in the banking industry, I was good at it. That's where I kind of learned about financial education. I learned in this sense of every time a person walks in there, they are frustrated, with their finances, with the debit orders, with the everything. And, yes. You get to see the frustration. And I was like, you know what? I think there's a huge gap in terms of financial education, because I was also one of the people who was affected by lack of financial education. I was earning 4,500 rand on my very first year of employment, and I bought a car. I bought a car with a 4,500 rand salary, and the deduction was plus minus 2,800, including insurance. So now you can calculate how much I was being left with, how struggling, the everything. And then to top it all, I moved to a new place where I bought furniture on credit.
Serious?
Yes, I bought furniture on credit. I was renting with this remaining amount of money. So I had a lot of struggle. And now when I had to now come back, and now I'm seeing the same people that I'm servicing, because I'm in the banking industry. A person is frustrated. A person is worried about, I got to pick up that a person is most frustrated on their payday. You go to a person on a payday and you speak about money, they will shashalaza you like like you don't exist, because it's not you, it's them. They are frustrated. And then as I continue to work, I start to develop this passion of educating people, of telling people, kind of advising. Well, I was in a good space at the time of the banking, where I was like giving advice on legally, if I can put it like that, legally allowed to give in advice. Then I would help a lot of people. Then I started to develop this passion of, because I already love talking about money. I already love to see people flourish when it comes to financial, personal finances. I love it when a person comes to me and says, I paid off that debt. Thank you. I have done this. Thank you. I have saved this amount of money. It makes me feel so good. So I developed this. And then in 2018, I was like, now, because now I was a manager, and I was a manager in the sales part. Now, the manager in the sales part, I have to drive a credit card so that we meet the target. I have to drive personal loans so that we meet the target. And these things are not satisfying me. Every time I'm getting closing a loan, signing off that loan, or closing a target, I'm not happy, because I know I've just made this, I'm not helping this person. The person that I've given a loan, I've got them to approve for their loan. It's not help. You know, it's temporal help, because they're celebrating now because they have 100,000 rand in their account, but in the next 6 years, they're going to pay 237,000 rand back. So the bank is going to make plus minus just above 100% of their installment. So I started to lose, to lose the passion. In the in the early years of my banking, I was on the service side, which I was very happy. On the service, you like kind of provide value. You provide value to the people because you assist. But now when you start to move to the sales side of it, where you get people to take the products that you know for a fact that you were once in trouble because you were not educated about them. It makes you want to first educate a person, and chances are when you educate this person, they're not going to sign up for this loan. So now I'm no longer a good person in the banking industry, because I want to do almost the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. I want to educate a person, and then hope that they will still want the sale, because I also want the sale. So I then developed that. In 2018, I resigned in the banking industry. And last year, this financial wellness business was born. I then went to, because I wanted to do it in a formalized structure. I then went to a coaching school, where now I learned about life coaching, because I realized there's one thing that we don't know about money. I realized that money is not just amape, pakpela. There's energy involved when it comes to money. There's emotions involved when it comes to money. So now I wanted to say, okay, I have my technical knowledge that I got from the banking industry, but I also want to help people in terms of the energy and the emotions. So now that's why, again, I embarked on the coaching career, and now I provide the financial wellness. My wellness is very important to me in this financial coach. I'm not just a financial coach. I'm a financial wellness coach, because I deal with both technical and the emotional side of money.
Okay. Cool. Ekugcineni, I would like also to have because I had them is on my frame, so that people will know where to contact you, because that's another purpose of this whole session is now the show, to also expose you to new people who might be interested in also getting your details and also contacting you, and also contributing towards on your business as well, on your financial coaching business. Now, you mentioned a lot of things, especially where depth, of which I believe your book is about that as well. So briefly, I don't want to go too much into your book, but I want you to brief us for someone, okay, right now, maybe I've just graduated, I'm about to graduate this year or next year, right? And I can't gain equality at all, right? So we've got this first person. Then we've got a second person now, a person who's already in debt, right? So now this person, not necessarily they want to come out of the debt, right? Because the only way to go about to move from that, obviously, is to pay it out, right? But now, how to avoid how to avoid it. Someone who's already in there, how to ensure that they do not continue going through the same process, because you've gone through it, so you've got the experience, and you even wrote a book about it. That's what I want us to talk about.
All right. So let me start with the person who is still starting. Very important. On my book, I do talk about it on the very first chapters of the book. The chapter says, why do people find themselves in debt? I think if you can get that, because you will understand why so you would see yourself when you are about to be in debt. First of all is lack of patience. Most of the time, I was not going to buy a car if I was patient enough, because honestly, I didn't afford a car. If we're being realistic, I didn't afford a 2,100 installment. It was 1.8 plus insurance. So I didn't afford it. So, but I was not patient. That was my biggest thing. I was not patient. Secondly, I moved out of home because I was staying at home where I was not paying rent. Can you hear me?
I could.
Oh, okay.
Your points.
Yeah, so I moved out of home. So if I was patient enough, I would have saved enough money to buy a car. I would have saved enough money to buy the furniture and move out comfortably. Secondly, run away from the get rich quick scheme, anything. Why do I say that? I say the gambling game. I say the gambling game in the book. I talk about the gambling game. And when I'm saying the gambling game, a person would actually think, okay, I'm talking about the casino and all of that. Yes, the casino too, but the get rich quick scheme things, because you find yourself saying, okay, there is this thing that's promising me to give me like 20,000 rand in the next 2 weeks. Okay, I don't have the 20,000 rand. Let me quickly borrow it because I'm going to return it back, in the next 2 or 3 weeks. That's what you are thinking. And then this thing lasts for 1 week, and then you don't get your money back, and you find yourself having to pay this debt for the money that you were hoping you're going to get it, fast. There isn't anything that is saying you will get money quick. You find out. So I talk about the stats, very important. In these get rich quick things, 13% only makes their money back, or even way more. The rest of the 87%, they lose their money. So if you see someone who is celebrating a lot of money that they got, they are probably in the very first people, So very important to pay attention to that. So stay away from the gambling game. Avoid unplanned kids. Like really.
All right.
Like seriously, unplanned family. When a child is a permanent expense until they get a job.
Yes.
True story. And we love our kids. We enjoy them. They are a blessing. We are not complaining about them. But if you are not financially ready to handle them and know that you are going to like fully take care of themselves, avoid it, Try as much as you can to avoid unplanned kids, because what happens is you have your background where you didn't grow up in a comfortable space. Now you push for that your kids don't get to experience what you have experienced. Now, how do you push it? You push by finding yourself taking a loan for the clothes, taking a loan for this and this, I know it might sound like abantu bangathi, how can I not have kids? But the truth is you have your jet account that maybe you didn't plan to take, but you decided to take a jet account so that you can buy impahla zabantwana nezesikolo and all of that. So try as much as you can to avoid unplanned families. Secondly, number four, get yourself financial educated. Getting yourself financial educated does not need for you to sign up in any school. There is internet. There is us. We provide free information on daily basis where we equip people in terms of how do you then now educate yourself. There is books that talk about financial education. Understand the concept of saving. Understand the concept of a personal loan. There was a guy who I couldn't believe who took a loan simply because they qualified 100,000 rand, and then they decide to save it. Save it on an investment that is giving them 7% per annum, but they are paying about 37%, about 27% per annum. So where is saving it at, you know? So we need to educate ourselves in that. If there is anything that you really, really need, go lay by it. Save it. You survived for the past, I don't know how many years of your life without it. You can actually survive for the next 5 years. If you really want it, you're going to save up money for it and buy it. That is not not the solution. And there's another thing, build up an emergency fund. An emergency fund is going to help you that when you don't have when you have an emergency, you will go and tap into your emergency fund. At the same time, you are going to be very protective of your emergency fund, that you're not just going to go just for the fun of it. You will go when there is a real emergency, and you will be able to measure the emergency. Is it really something that cannot wait for 30 more days until I get paid, you know? So build up on an emergency fund and use it only for emergencies. Because when we get emergencies and we don't have emergency fund, the next best thing that we run to is into a bank that is, or a loan shark that is going to give you money to cover whatever the emergency. So build an emergency fund. Now let's come to a person. I've got a whole lot more. I just can't remember the other things that I talk about, but they are there in the book. I believe these are the most important ones. Then for you, if you are already in debt, you stay away from the consolidation loans. There's a article I wrote in one of my blogs where I explain how a consolidation loan works. But just let me be brief, because it's quite a long process. So consolidation loan, you take 3 loans, you pay this and this and this, and then on your 3rd year, let's just say you're paying 5,000 rand. Then on your 3rd year, someone comes and offers you a consolidation loan that says, so you were about to finish on your 5th year, right? So on your 3rd year, someone comes and says, I want to offer a consolidation loan. Then they do a calculation for you and write, you were paying 5,000 rand. But now, because you have paid for over 3 years, the balances, they have dropped. Number one. Number two, you've already paid a huge chunk on the people that you were owing before. They come in here with this new loan on your 3rd year, and then they calculate for you, and then you find out, okay, the installment has dropped to 3,500. So you celebrate and you're thinking, I'm going to save about 1,500. But this is one thing that you don't get to pay attention to. These people, yes, they're going to settle for you, and you're going to pay 3,500 rand. You are going to finish on your 5th year, but now their term has extended to, because now it's year number 3. So if you take a consolidation loan, it's going to be year number 1. So 5 more years. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a loan that you took and on this year is now going for the 7th year. Even though the installment has dropped, it is supposed to drop and go by. You have already paid a huge chunk for the first 3 years. So you need to be very careful of that. Who is winning in this consolidation loan? But one thing I guarantee you, it's not you. It's not you. Stay away from the consolidation loan. Number 2, when you want to get out of debt, stay away from it's not a consolidation. What are these people that take people's money and then they say they will pay for you? The debt reviews.
Yes.
When the debt reviews, that is the one thing that is very painful, because what happens is those people, yes, they go out and negotiate for you, which you're going to pay this small amount of money and all of that. But remember, they are also in business. So they are taking this money now, they are also making money out of it. You find out you go to 6 months, they haven't paid. They've been debiting whatever amount they've been debiting, but they haven't paid for 6 months because they went and negotiated. You say they are still in process with one. While they don't pay 6 months, interest it's still calculating, it's still adding more and more and more and more and more. when you find yourself in a place where you are now very, very struggling, like the National Credit Act allows you to go back to the people that you owe and say, please reevaluate, my financial situation is no longer the same. Yes. So you go do it, because what these people do, they go out and negotiate something that you can do on your own without paying the fees. So don't be lazy to say, you know what, I'm kind of struggling now. Go to whatever you owe and say, this is what I currently can afford because of A, B, and C. Recalculate and see how much, insist on it. I know, Guti, I used to work in the bank, and it was not one of the fun things we liked to do. We just send you to a call center and all of that. Patience is the only thing that's going to drive you, Guti, yenzeke this thing. Other than you going and paying, then when you want to get out, another thing, when you are in debt review, unfortunately, what you sign and it's finalized and everything, you cannot get out until the debt reviewer gives you a clearance certificate. A clearance certificate can only be issued when you have paid up everything. So if you say, you know what, I'm stopping, you can say, I'm stopping to pay these people. I'm going to go back to the people that I owe and pay for myself. Maybe after you realize, you know what, I actually made a mistake. And then you say, I'm taking out my money. This was batalela. Then it's fine, but just know, Uguti, you are going to be under this debt review until you paid up everything. Then when you paid up everything, now you can only have a right to say, guys, debt review, because I no longer want to be part of it. Another thing with the debt review, I feel, Uguti, people don't understand this thing, debt review, and I find a lot of people complaining about it. Well, when it was still introduced and it was sold nicely, and they thought it was a solution, but it's not. Another thing, when you go for a debt review, just know, Uguti, you are saying, I cannot handle my finances. So you're putting yourself at risk of saying, I cannot handle my finances. So if I cannot handle my finances, it means nobody's going to trust you with their money. Remember, when people are giving you a loan, they are trusting that you are going to bring it back with interest. So it's a business transaction. So now, how do you give someone who has declared, which I'm unable to handle my finances, your finances, your money? You can't do that. So in the near future, you might find yourself disadvantaged. Now you want to buy something serious like a house or whatever that you want to buy. Then, boom. No, when you once declared, you can't handle your finances. So, you've actually walked into a place and said, I don't want to be given money, As much as after a couple of years, you do get out, they do clean your name and all of that. But it's always there, There was a time where you couldn't. How do we then now trust you? Most ukuthi umuntu oke wagula ngengqondo noba sethu recovery shile siyamkholelwa kodwa
No,
yeah.
correct.
So it is like that. But the last thing, which I feel is very important, and the debt is an emotional thing. I learned that on one of the books that I bought, Gabu Sisilesho. Debt is an emotional thing, and it's deeper than just the amount. It's way deeper than just the amount, because when I was growing up, when I was starting to work, I didn't want to be in debt. Every time I had paid off something, I would I don't want to go back to debt. I don't want to. And then I found myself back in debt again, until I had to now evoke and ask myself, what is wrong? What is actually going on? Because obviously, I know debt is not good. I know, I know all the technical parts, but there is just something that is just not getting me out of debt. And then I found out there is emotions that kind of trigger. That's why I talk about the wounds of debt, where now I was a child who grew up from home where we would have food for 2 weeks, and then the next 2 weeks we go see banana, see and all of that. I think most of backgrounds, black backgrounds, most of them, they had that. Now, when I start to work, I had the same thing about imali. I get paid imali hlala for 2 weeks, then the last 2 weeks and all of that. That was a wound. That was a wound, and I was going back. So it has already been ingrained in the way in Pilangai. So I had to learn how to rewire my brain. I always say, to rewire your brain, you need to be aware. You know, you need to bring in awareness. For example, sometimes it's kulele makaya and sive ukuthi utatomkhulu wakho wayengevesela, utatomkhulu wakho wayengevela, you know, they're praising. It's the ancestral wound. Then you see a child say, taking over, taking ama-traits katatomkhulu. He walks like utatomkhulu, he does this like utatomkhulu. Even with money too, it happens. So it is very important to heal that emotional thing, whatever that is it that is driving you. Like I talk about childhood wounds, and I identify each and every child because, like I said, nothing happens in life just for Jay. I was blessed enough to be exposed to some of these things, and I would actually see, oh, okay, so Phelisa, why is he behaving like this? So why is so and so behaving like this? So I talk about, you find out to put it, a child okulele on a good home, where they had everything, and then they grow up, they start to be independent, and life happens. Because life happens, you know, we're not going to be forever with everything. Then now they've grown up with everything. Now life is happening for them, and now they don't want to adjust and saying, you know what, life is happening, let me adjust, let me downgrade, let me do this. Then they find themselves in debt. So find yourself, why are you behaving like this? What is your emotional wound that is driving you into that? Then whenever you find that and heal it, it's easy for you to just say, okay, I know why I was like this. And when you start to pay, you know, you kind of know what, I'm not going to go back. But until you find that emotional thing that is driving you to that technicality, we will talk and talk and talk and talk. You will know food, but at the end of the day, you will go back, because 80% of our lives is controlled by the subconscious mind.
Wow. Wow, that's really powerful. I'm sure a lot of us can relate to what you just said. Actually, you almost finished all the questions that I had in my head, because you almost answered everything. Now I don't even know which questions to ask now, because as you're speaking, there's a lot of things as well that I would like to sort of highlight and also, you know, pick up questions from that. But after picking up the whatever you were saying previously, you just jump on and answer it, and then like, okay, you answered the question already. So, but I saw there's a question which came from Obonagele. It is similar to a question that I had as well. Okay, Bethulam it wants to die now, so it's gonna give us issues, but I'm gonna sort that out. Okay, once to answer Bonagele, Nami, I've got one question, and then one question was how to save, basically. Ngisave kanjani? How do I discipline myself ukuthi ngisave? Ngizwile manje ukuthi khuluma ngento ebalekile ukuthi the root cause is the whole emotional story, the background yami and all that. So that's the root cause. Now you already, I mean, we've looked into that, but I don't want us to go look into that right now, because I think it's more of a personal thing that I have to go on a journey and sort myself out there. So whilst I'm busy sorting myself out on that whole emotional situation or the money personality situation, I'm going through my journey, I'm healing now, but I still need to save money, right? So my question is, how do I save money? Like if manje angikwazi ukusave imali, every time ungena ilokhuzana salary yami yeah everywhere, and then makuphela inyanga I have no money, right? Or I do save a little bit of money, but now kuqamba kuphela inyanga nayo ayisekho njengoba dushilo, first 2 weeks right, the last 2 weeks I'm borrowing money. So now I want you to give us a few tips on how do I save money. And second question, Gabonagele, how do you stop yourself from tapping into the emergency fund, of which I believe is the money you've been saving? How do you make sure angihaleli angigcini ngifake isandla laphana emasudini akhismuzi, you know, unezitshe lapha ehlala lapha emakhaya to azithintwa only for special visitors? How do I keep myself from touching those, you know, special dishes for special people, you know, for emergency situations. So how do I save it, or how do I save it, which is creating the emergency account? Now, how do I make sure I don't tap into it? It's two questions. Doesn't I talk a lot, then I extend my questions. Yeah.
Okay, let's start here. Let's start with the, I always say we need to start with the mind. We need to start with the mind. So if we start with the mind in terms of us knowing Uguti, we are not, let me just do this. Oh, okay. We are not suffering from lack. Okay. Now there is this thing of us saving because we are scared we're going to run out. Maybe let me just touch here. We don't save because we are scared we are going to run out. We need to have a mentality of knowing Uguti, money is not supposed to end, but that's a story for another day, and that's the wellness part of it, where it's all in the head, it's all in the mind, the mindset, the money mindset.
Okay.
Now, when you are saving from the fear, you're saving from the fear, I don't want to run out, I don't want to run out. Now there is something that says, whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you focus on grows. Now you are saving on the basis of fear. You are scared of losing. You know, you're not saving because you want to save and you know it makes you feel good to have money. I save just because, you know what, I want to see the balance and it makes me happy. But I know Uguti, money, I said at the beginning, money, there's an energy part in the money. So if you infuse the energy of knowing what you're not going to run out, then you will save with an open heart and an open mind. There's no fear in it, and you are not focusing on the fear, you are focusing on the growth, you know. So how you do that, practical side of it, how to be practical about saving. Number one, when you started working and you were earning, you were not earning. So before you got a job, there was no salary. Now you start a job, you earn 5,000 rand. Now you create 5,000 rand problems, because nobody creates some problems other than you. You are the one who creates some 5,000 rand problems. All right, again. So what created a 5,000 rand problem? Luckily, we get increases, we get and all of that. Start saving the increase that you have. Well, for the people that I have the financial wellness, I've got a 6 months financial wellness coaching program. I say to them that when your money comes into your account, take a certain portion. Whether you take 5%, I usually say if you really cannot, but I know for a fact that you can take at least to 5%. Because remember, that we buy, yeah, I know that statement a lot when people used to say, that's when starting to like splurge, use the money, you know, uncontrollable, if I can put it like that. So before you do anything, take at least 5% and put it on the side, you know, just on an account where you cannot touch it. I personally use Stash. There's an account called Stash. You open an app with, I think it's with Liberty. What I like about Stash is I haven't verified it. So you can't save more than 30,000 rand because it's a tax-free account. So I put it on the side there. I haven't verified it. My reason for not verifying it is I know I can only deposit in money there, but the day I want to withdraw the money, I will need to verify it. And now I'm lazy to verify it. My not verifying it has two reasons. One is for me not to touch the money because I have a purpose for that money. Secondly, it's for me not to just take it anytime, you know. So that is why I've used Ustash. So take a certain portion, you receive 1,000 rand, 500 rand, 50 rand, but start. That's the important thing. Start even if you start with 100 rand, because once you start, you will gain momentum. Even with the runners, we know if Barana a comrades marathon, they start running and then they start to pace themselves, as you know. So this is a journey. This is not something as a Wednesday kusasa. It's not something And it's not a journey, you know, it's not 100 meters, don't. It's just for you walking your race, your pace, and it's your life. You have the full control of how you're going to shape it. So start even if you start with 50 rand, even if you start with 100 rand, and train your mind that 50 rand is not accessible to me. So how do you do that? Who's trainer that you don't say, oh, okay, when you run out of money, you don't go like, I at least took on 50 rand. No. Once you have an at least took on 50 rand, you're definitely going to touch that 50 rand before the month end. So the moment you use that, you take that money and put it aside, forget about it. That's number one. Number two, saving does not necessarily mean putting money aside, because that's the biggest problem. You can save on bank fees. I always say, look at your account, understand your account, have a clear understanding of the account. Let me make an example. I had an account that charges 100 rand ngenyanga. I know, well, it's no longer 100 rand now, it's 160. But when I took it, it was 100 rand. Yeah. I know what is involved in that account. Number one, I know I've got 4 free withdrawals, 4 free ATM withdrawals in that account. That's what I know. I know I've got 1 free cash deposit in that account. That's what I know. I know I've got unlimited internet transfers. So my internet transfers are not, I don't get charged. Whatever I do, I don't get charged when I do internet transfers. I know that I've got unlimited card swipes on that card, you know, but I also know Uguti, cashback does not involve card swipe. So if I take a cashback, I'm going to be charged a certain amount of money. You know, I don't have a free cashback. So what do? I don't exceed 4 withdrawals on my ATM. I know I don't exceed 4 withdrawals. I don't do. Whenever someone is saying I'm going to deposit money for you, I say to them, are we still together?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I'm just trying to get the charging thing closer. But continue. I'm listening to you 100%.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. 100%. So I know I'm not going to do more than 4 withdrawals. I know if a person wants to deposit for me, I beg them, okay, please do an internet transfer or whatever, but don't just, you know, I know how it works. I know what I can swipe as many or as much as I can, because I know this is the amount of money. I don't get charged. So at the end of the month, I don't pay more than 160 rand on my bank charges. So that is me saving. To find out because we don't understand how a bank account's working, you find out we do our withdrawals. When 100 rand, you go and do a withdrawal 100 rand for something that you could have easily transferred. You need like someday 60 rand, something that you can easily, you know, you could have easily transferred. You need that money, you go and do withdrawal. You don't know for each and every withdrawal you're getting charged for it. So very important to understand the account yako and nama specs account yako, so that you can use it in a way that is going to be beneficial to you. Another thing, again, I find it very interesting and people don't know about it. Credit cards, like the credit cards that, so you already have a credit card. A credit card, most of them, they have a 55 interest-free period. So which means if I have a credit card, got 2,000 rand, and then I pay it 2,000 rand within the 55-day period, I'm not going to be charged the interest except for maintenance fee, 50 rand or whatever. I'm not going to be charged. But here's the thing, with the credit card, you put in more money, you earn interest. So you have a credit card, 2,000 rand, and then you decide that, okay, I'm going to put in more money. You earn interest. Now, what I used to do, I used to take AMA on my payday, because I have my salary and limited credit card. What I used to do is, I was still going to use it, but what I used to do is, I would take 5,000 rand and put it put in 10,000 rand. Now I know I've paid all a credit card, even though I'm still going to use it. It's accessible to me. Even though I've saved on the interest. So in a credit card, never had the interest, because I knew what is needed is if I can pay a full amount within the period of 55 days, I'm not going to be charged. And when do you get paid? You get paid on monthly basis. So what I do is I take my money, I get paid on my check card, and then I transfer a whole lot of money into my credit card, and then I use credit card. There's a whole lot of benefits. I'm a credit card, like interest.
I'm sure next account is fine. I can see it's going, but on my side, it's gone. Oh my God. I have no idea what's happening. Now it's just stopped. Or maybe we're out of time with Zoom. I don't know. Probably we're out of time. Oh gosh, I hope not. Let's see what's happening here. Because I still got some data, enough data for the show.
Okay, we're back.
I don't know what happened. I just
I don't know what happened.
Anna, you've got enough time on your Zoom, right?
Yes, no. I'm unlimited. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, that's good then. Yeah, because the session so the right English weight, even a profit as much as possible to everyone, right? Okay. Yeah. So at the same time, angifuna ukuthi siyenze ibe yinde kakhulu such a way that umuntu azathi, yo, there was so much that I learned, but at the same time I forgot everything, you know. So I want us to learn as much as we can, even if it means it's okay. The session was so good, as I can say, it's so good. And I can see people are engaging and they're learning so much. I'm learning so much myself, and I'm grateful for that. We can even do part 2 maybe later in the year as well, you know. Also to catch up with it. Guys, since we had Mafunda part that knowledge, what have we done so far, you know, have it even more engaging than this. So maybe maybe from now on, maybe let's give it another 10-15 minutes, then we close off our session, and then we also give out your details, because eating if now could about to go out and buy your book. It's wanted to go and book you take it through their journey of and financial wellness as well. Because I said I your link to I could see your page where they can book for financial wellness, and I also shared your Amazon link to online as well, so they can buy it. You don't have to call you. Is there okay if you can't get the book? No, you can get it online. Come on. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I've learned a lot already. So I can see what you've covered most of my questions that I had for you. So maybe with just one last question, maybe if you can give us a little bit on that question. Actually, out two. I'm sorry, but it's 2 questions. Professor Josepe, your views on these things, your views as a financial expert, and then then we can close off the session. First question. It's also links back to what you were talking about saving, understanding your account and all that, and the number of fees that are involved. Now, I personally believe which is another way of making money and saving it, or it's another way of avoiding you from touching your what you call
emergency
from touching your emergency account, side hustle incomes. You know, I just want to get your view on that. What can a person do, or your view, general view on it, basically. And number 2, kunento ehlezi ikhulunywa abantu bathi abantu kunama-unit trust, kunama-shares, I want to buy shares, omunye athi ama-shares ayabheda, ama-unit trust awekho right. You know, I want to get your view as well on that as an expert, because I think these are other ways of making money or saving money. Yeah, basically your view on those 2. Side hustles, shares versus unit trust.
All right. Okay, so let me just answer your what someone will better, how do I not touch? Okay, just a simple line. Have rules for your emergency account. How does an emergency look like to you? What is it that you know, at what amount do you want it to be? You know, when are you going to be comfortable? It is said generally that 6 months salary should be your emergency fund. It's right. So you need to be able to say, even after I lose my job, I can still at least survive for 6 months without a change of a lifestyle.
Because it's a very important point. I want to be even more clear for someone else might understand that. You say
Okay.
6 months should be your emergency fund, or emergency fund should equate to your 6 months salary. Basically,
yes,
to have
yes,
you lose your job. You have imali 6 months. That's what you're saying. So that's what you save towards, you work towards.
Yes. You say, but again, like for example, as we're still new in these things, you don't need to spaghetti pressure. No need to put spaghetti pressure. You can actually like do it with just whatever you have. Start, but what is important is having rules for your accountability. What does an emergency? And whenever something shows itself as an emergency, always ask yourself, because there's things that show themselves as emergency. Always ask yourself, who is going to die if I don't have money?
Good one. Like that. Like that.
I always say we need to like kind of have a limits of saying, you know what, is there anyone who's going to die if what if I didn't have, you know, or can't this thing wait for 30 more days until I have money, you know? Just engage yourself in that way. Okay, so when it comes to in the Yama side hustle, you know, I don't like the word hustle. If you follow me on Facebook, you would know, Guti. I once shared my view about the hustle. I'm not a believer of we need to work hard to get things, and the word hustle, it gives that kind. Hence, you find a lot of people struggle when it comes to, you know, they feel Guti. We need to get away from this thing of feeling Guti. For me to have the things, I need to work hard, you know. We need to move away from that. We need to work smart, because let's just look at the few people we know have like a lot of money. Let me like look at let me not mention names. A couple of celebrities. Do you think they are working hard or they're working smart? Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. Do you think he's worked hard or he worked smart?
Good one. Good one.
Yeah. So we need to engage in a way of, we need to start finding ways of working smart. Coach Wam once said to me, if we were saying abantu who are working hard are the ones who get more money, the mine workers are supposed to be the richest people, you know? Because they are the ones that if hard work we were to put hard work into, you know, do you get me?
100%. 100%. That's very good. That's very deep, by the way. Very deep.
Yes. So we need to find ways. I always say, I've got a couple of income streams that I managed to juggle in between my day, and most of them, they need me to be like nicely involved in them, but I don't feel like I'm working hard. Number one, why is that? I'm doing things that I'm passionate about. When you do things that you are passionate about, you don't feel the pain. It doesn't feel like you work. It feels good. Like you kind of enjoy it. You feel good after doing it. I'm so gonna feel good after doing this thing, because when we empower, we feel good. So find things that you're passionate about, things that you do them effortlessly, and find ways to monetize that. If you have information that you'd like to share with people, guys, information is expensive. We should move away of this thing, free information, you know. People should give information, free information, like now, voluntarily, because they want to. But it shouldn't be now because uyamazi umama Mafunda ukhonza naye so uyafika Mama Mafunda ngoku ngicela ungicebisela uhlale naye uqede i-hour. Umama Mafunda ucharge u-500 for an hour. We need to respect that, you know. So we need to teach ourselves to know, okay, I've got a skill that people pay for, and we need to move away to things as it abantu abanamali. Abantu, they have money for the things they want. You know, if your things, if the products or the services that you provide, you kukhona abantu abazifunayo, they will come to you.
Yeah, true.
The one thing to run whatever side you are doing, whatever side hustle that you are doing, let me use the word, common word, hustle, whatever side job you are doing, stop wanting favors, because you are killing your business. You want favors because chances are you don't believe in this product, you know, that you are selling. So ufuna abantu bakwenzela ifavor. Kahle kahle, but you, by providing a service, you are actually yenzela abantu ifavor so that they get the service that you provide, you know, and get them to ukuthi ba prosperish, you know, to prosper in life, you know. So if there's something that you're good at, and we have into wrong, there are things that people cannot pay for. No, people can pay for just about anything. Charge. Charge. And there are people abafuna ukwazi ukukhatha inwele, teach them at a fee. Teach the people abafuna ukucheba ukuthi how do you cut a cut. If ufuna icut ibe nomgceke, bafundise at a fee. Khona abantu abafuna ukwenza makeup, if abakwazi, charge. You know, the things that you do effortlessly and you enjoy them, find ways to monetize them. Always find. I believe we all come into this world siphethe skills. How we use those skills is up to us. You know, the people who are flourishing, they were born on a silver platter or whatever, but not all of them were that. Though the abantu who are prospering are the people who believe in themselves. I'll make an example. With me, I have always had people believing in me, except for me. You know, I would say, and someone would be like, how Phelisa, you will survive. When are you good? You know, when are you find ways, you always good. I didn't see that in me for a very long time. So learn to believe in yourself before you can actually say, I want people to believe in me. When you don't believe in yourself. I started believing in myself, and then I started to gain a whole lot of business opportunities. You know, I got business deals from people. Abati, I saw your attitude. I want you to be part of my business on things that I am clueless about. But because I'm bringing in good attitude, then they want to be part. They want me to be part of their businesses. So you need to work on that. Again, work on your attitude. Remove the desperation, guys. If you offer something, believe in it. And if people don't want to buy it, it's okay. They are not your target market. Set out your target market. What are you looking for? I wrote a book with a set of a target market, and to my surprise, the people that I had targeted are not buying. Some other people are buying the book, and I'm okay with that. So always be willing to be, be flexible. If abantu bathile la obocinga ukuthi uzobanceda abakusupport, it's fine. There is other people that are going to buy this thing. So what was your other question again? Because now we're talking about side hustle, and I'm always passionate with it. We should stop. I had a coaching session with our lady. Just I've got time. I had a coaching session with this lady who wanted ukuyeka emsebenzini. Now une stress sokuthi imali in, and I'm asking yena ukuthi, when you are at work, when you leave your work, are you going to leave your skill emsebenzini na? You know, we've got a lot of people abaphelelwe umsebenzi. Maybe this is very relevant because we've got a lot of people abaphelelwe umsebenzi due to COVID and all of that right now. So when you leave umsebenzi, awushiyi skill sakho ecompany, you go with your skill. When you were employed, the company was willing to take a risk on you, you know. Now you need to be willing to say, I am taking a risk on me. You know, so very important. I left the banking industry, and before I was leaving the banking industry for the second time. And when I left the first time, I was like, the only thing I know is banking. What can I provide them? You know, I didn't see value. But when I left the banking industry for the second time, I was like, I've got a whole lot of information that I have got from the bank that can help a whole lot of people. Now I am capitalized and sharing information. My information is still here. So if you you get retrenched or anything like that, you are working as when maybe she computer maybe she programs maybe she whatever resources, but there is this one resource that has everything in your head. You know, I get so saddened mangibona umuntu one skill sokweluka inhloko ehleli ethi isaluna imqashanga you don't need anything except for your hands to do inwele zomuntu, because umuntu uza nefiber yakhe, you know. So what is it that you need? You just need a chair. You can't tell me ayikho chair ekhaya. So we need to teach ourselves to think out of the box and stop this thing yokuthi angikashwanga angikwazanga ukuthina angikwazanga ukuthina. Futhi mangabe sewusebenza ke ngoku you are working, find something that you can actually do on the side to boost your income. Income A1, we are in a South Africa that is currently really going for a recession. If it's not there yet, I don't know, but we need to boost our income. Boost your income on things that are legal. A whole lot of companies that are providing nice, income and all of that. There is network marketing, the correct network marketing. I say the correct network marketing because I know go to corner these things as it is 500 rand or 20,000 rand. That's not the correct network marketing. I'm talking about it, a network marketing that say buy our product, sell it, get profit. If you tell more people, you get more people to buy this product. I'm not talking about a product like your coins and what, your crypto and what. I'm not talking about that. I've got nothing against those. But I'm talking about if the company, if inuga iyawa namhlanje, you have perfumes and inuga in your hands, where you will decide either you sell it or you use it. So you cannot say I lost my money at inuga. I'm just making an example with inuga. I'm not on inuga by any chance. Let me put it out there. I'm just making an example. So if you have find something that you can do on the side. I know a teacher who is running a BNB. It's not even a BNB. He's hosting ama dinners at night because he loves cooking. You know, I know someone who's got a job, but in a studio where he's taking pictures, because it's not like you're going to take pictures for 8 hours, you know. We are go and take pictures on a Saturday, go and take pictures. So that's something that you can actually do. And if you actually love it, it's going to give you fulfillment. If I were to go back to a job now and work again, I will not stop doing what I do because I love it. So I would find ways to do it in the afternoon. So find something to boost your income. That's where I'm coming at. Now let's talk about the shares. 5 minutes.
Before you go there, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Which I just don't want to keep this show as if it's all about me. You know, all the questions I have. There's Mr. Ngobola. He had one question la. Would you please? Which type of saving is the best between fixed and taxable? So if there's anyone else, guys, who's got questions, can you please bring your questions in, because we are about to wrap up anyway. So I don't want to be the one who's asking all the questions. If you have questions, please do ask them. I'll read them through. Then Mafunda will answer the questions. Please answer that one. That I put mine on the side and answer this one. I think one is more important than my question.
Okay, so all investments are taxed. Ngaphandle kwe-investment ebizwa ngokuthi tax-free account. The tax-free account is available on all banking. I think all banks, they provide the tax-free account. But at TFSA, so it's tax-free savings account. But in a restriction, you cannot save anything more than 30,000 rand an annum or 500,000 rand lifetime. If you save more than that, you get charged a huge amount on your interest, which is about 40%. So let's just say you exceeded whatever 30. Oh, it's no longer 30,000. It's 33 now. It's 33. Yes, it's 33,000. It's tax-free. It has increased.
Yeah.
If you saved more than that, then you get charged, and it charge tax about 40% of all your interest, which is a whole lot of money. Then you've got your fixed. If fixed, imnandi currently, I can say imnandi currently because the interest rates zehlile. And if you had taken your investment, I remember the last time when I was still working in the bank, our fixed was providing 11% per annum, which I think it's quite reasonable. But yeah. So if you fix it, unfortunately with the fixed, you've got to say, I've got 100,000 rand, put it for me, I'm going to take it after 5 years, and you can't add on it. So that is the disadvantage of it. So should you find any mali even though, and when you want to access it again, you get penalized now by the bank a whole lot of money. I'll make an example. There was one guy who had saved about 2 million rand, and he wanted his money. He had to pay 48,000 rand of levies, charges zokuthi uyithathe before time, so you need to look at that. But just to be nje, if you want ama savings are right, I would say go and see a financial planner and sit down with them so that you get to see ama options, because imali is funny. Sometimes you're saying 500 rand, sometimes nale. But if you want to fix imali yako, you must know nesamba. And if you don't want to be taxed, you must know, okay, I want to go for a tax-free savings account that's going to limit me no more than 33,000 rand in a year,
So that also goes back to the whole story of the longer you keep it, the higher likely uguti when the more profit, the quicker you take it out, also less profit. Similar with the tax-free, the less you make less interest. Earnings up will be less, but if you take the taxable one higher, you get higher in the interest or income, but also is still gonna get taxed as well. So it depends on you, but also, as you said, the best person to answer this question for you is your financial planner.
Go to a financial planner and take it. And we need to get into a habit of reading our terms and conditions, because most of the time we don't do that. Go to sign and then you just sign. So we need to get to a habit of reading our terms and conditions. Okay, the last question about Tetengayo. Can I continue?
There's another question again coming from. So can you answer more of my questions, Abo? Then if there's still time, then we answer my question last. Now, any advice when buying a house or taking out a bond? Good question. Very good question.
Yeah, very good one. Okay, so here is what I love about the bond. A bond in an interest rate, like currently, I think the bond is charging you at 7% per annum. So you will in an interest rate with a longer term. You're given like 20 years to pay it, sometimes 30 years to pay it. But you find out you've been given a bond 500,000 and you pay it over a period of 20 years with a less interest, right? And then you want to buy a car, you get approved 500,000 again, and then you can pay it in 6 years, right? You cannot pay imoto for 20 years. No, you get paid in 6 years. So now if you go into a bond and imoto 13% or 12% interest, that's what they're charging you. Now let's say now you have a car, you have indlu, and you get the same amount of money, but the installment that you are paying, we're paying 2,000 rand, but for a car you're paying plus minus 8,000 rand. Okay, now what is nice about a bond? An additional of just 500 rand can actually drop your installment. If you don't mind, let me just look into my computer. I know I've got one client ebengenzela i-debt payment plan. The exact beauty of additional amount when paying a bond. But when paying a bond, the most important thing is to have additional amount, add the amount, Tata, whatever they're saying they will charge you, you installment you're going to pay, and pay it and add the amount. The more you add it, the better for you.
Wait. Were you adding it as part of the loan, or you adding it as in like you're depositing it from your own pocket?
You just tell them, okay, just buy a batzale for 2-3 months, and then you go to them and say, can you please increase my can you please increase my thingy for the 500 rand or whatever, my installment for 500 rand or whatever. You tell them to increase your installment. They do it right away. They try to, as much as they can, to avoid it, because buyers would you're going to have a whole lot of save a whole lot of money. But when you do it, but when you do it, when you do it ngesandla, noba uyenze ngesandla, noba uyenze nge-debit order or whatever, it still comes out nicely. But the most important plan is for you ukuthi uyibhadale ngoku, like as soon as you can actually drop for 6 years.
That's better than 500 rand. Also,
just 500 rand. So look at this one. Thank God you can't see it. I can only see it. So this this lady was taking une home loan. Well, the amount is quite high because it's a huge house, and she's paying about 10K, and then she was going to add about 5,000 rand. So she was going to finish home loan around 2030, no, 2042. Now we did an additional of 5,000 rand. She is finishing loan yake for 2024.
From 40 to 20.
Yes, we cut down a whole lot of years because it was still very much new. Yes, with just an additional amount. So if you can add just noble 500 rand, because interest rate you can always save a whole lot of money on it. But I do a debt payment plan. If you just want to see how much you can save, you can just come to me and we will see it.
When I get late now, you know where to go. You know where to go to sort out your own issues and all that. Yeah. Okay. One of my questions, and any
it's fine. It's fine. We can take them.
It's no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna thank.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also have an issue on my side. As you can see, I keep moving my phone. If Islam is dying, and I don't know why I charge. I've been trying to charge, like trying so many options around my PC and getting plugged. I have no idea what's happening. So yeah, it was a very good session, guys. It's a very good session, Mafunda. I mean, I've learned so much ngemali yabo. Ungenza nje ngibona ukuthi yazi ngazi lutho ngemali. I thought ngiyazi mix. Ubona ubisele esikoleni ngiqasa phansi. Yeah, so I'm really grateful for this show namhlanje. Just ukuza kwakho uzo share information now. Nathi, I knew very well ukuthi you coming in, I'm going to get help a lot, and I know there's a lot of people who are going to get help. We've never had a show over 1 hour. It's the first time ever. And I can see people are still engaging and they're still online because we're talking about something so powerful in Mali, which makes the world go around. But also right now, I have an issue earphone, which I'm pretty sure is unprofessional, like his which is says then cut off, you know. So I'm pretty sure nicely, but since in Mali, it's like a topic, we can talk about so many things about Mali. There's so many questions I still have myself, but if I can ask them, I'm gonna go for another 2 hours, you know. And also with the issue that I've just mentioned now, and I'm fully session about Befunde so lately whilst we've spoken for so long, you know. So I want people to go and grasp whatever we've learned today. Then maybe later during the year, we can have part 2 of this show because it was very interesting, very informative. Then I can talk to you again whenever you be available. We'd really appreciate it. And we can have another session like this one. And I'll be more than happy to also do like sort of a small review. You know, people share from what they've learned from you, what is it that they've improved on. And also, I want to hear people saying they've read your book. I want to hear people saying they've gone up and they've signed up. You've had 2-3 clients that got to know about you through this show. That's what I want to hear. I want us to go forward. I want people to start paying you for your services, you know, because you don't do this for free. It's free now, but someone has to pay for it. So people are watching this show. So more than anything, imali. If we had money, we'll just throw in 1 million in your account right now.